ourselves here once again to celebrate a special time of year. It's that season once again where the days grow shorter and the nights grow colder, and the denizens of Skyrim celebrate the most spooky of festivals, that of all Hallows Eve, known to others by different names, such as the Witches' Festival, or even Halloween in some far-flung places. Here we see some of the patrons of Candlehearth Hall are already well into celebrating with good drink and seasonal food like this delicious looking apple pie here. Looks good enough to eat. And although there's a chill in the air outside, here in Candlehearth Hall, it's warm and welcoming, comfy and cozy, with the ever-roaring fire and all manner of seasonal baking and goodies to be had. Let's go down into the kitchen and see what they're preparing. It smells delicious down here. All sorts of warm spices and comforting flavors mingling together. The scent of hearty stew, roasting mutton, nutmeg, allspice, and cinnamon. This seasonal gourd here, and another delicious looking apple pie all contribute to the feeling of comfort and coziness here. And perhaps you can hear something a bit curious now. I do believe there is a visitor upstairs, because as much as the residents of Skyrim enjoy this season for its festivities, we must not forget it's also the time of year when the veil between the worlds of the living and the deceased is at its thinnest, and many citizens take part in decorating their abodes and establishments with all manner of traditional items designed to ward off evil spirits and welcome in only the good ones, such as the one that we hear upstairs back there. Let's head on out, shall we? Out here in Windhelm, night is falling. The last warm light of day slowly slipping away, and the stars are emerging. Out here too, the citizens have decorated with devices to ward off evil. Dark clouds gather on the horizon. No doubt we will see our fair share of spirits tonight. None of them malevolent, though, I hope. For example, right here, our first apparition appears to be simply minding their own business. A number of very realistic looking skeletons have been hung by the resident of this building on our left. And over here in this alcove, a spooky vendor sells their seasonal wares and oddities. But we did spend some time in Windhelm last year for All Hallows Eve, and I was thinking it would be nice to go somewhere different this year, somewhere we've not been for this celebration before. And I've heard tell that the residents of the small settlement of Raven Rock on the island of Solstheim, far to the north in the Sea of Ghosts, are avid observers of All Hallows Eve. And so I think we will head there to see how they celebrate this most spooky of occasions. Look at that spectacular sight. Masser illuminating the sky. Veil of ghostly clouds drawn across the stars. Truly spectacular. Let's make our way down to the Windhelm docks, where we will find our passage to Solstheim. The night sky in Skyrim is truly a sight to behold. It never ceases to fill me with wonder and awe. To reach Solstheim, we will be taking a journey on a vessel which is moored down at the docks, a vessel by the name of the Northern Maiden. It's a stout and well-equipped vessel, safe for navigating the treacherous and stormy northern seas of the Sea of Ghosts. It should get us to Solstheim safely tonight. And as the night wears on, the weather gets chillier. The blowing snow clinging to the guards and citizens alike. Dark clouds have rolled in to obscure the stars. such as tonight. And here we see the crew of the Northern Maiden making some last-minute repairs and preparations, ensuring that she is fully seaworthy for our journey to Solstheim. I'm very curious to see how those in Raven Rock celebrate All Hallows Eve. Let's hope for a smooth and safe journey. And here, at last, we have arrived in Raven Rock on the island of Solstheim, and it's quite apparent that the people here celebrate All Hallows Eve with great enthusiasm. Masser is still high in the sky, casting its silvery, pale light across the settlement, and this eerie emanation is billowing up from somewhere below, and evidently the enormous spiders which we have observed in other parts of Skyrim have made their way here to Raven Rock as well, specifically for the occasion of All Hallows Eve. Here too, the residents set out carved pumpkins and gourds to ward off those evil spirits, and perhaps in even greater numbers here than we saw in Windhelm. And what are these strange creatures we see flying in the sky, here silhouetted against the silvery clouds? A winged skull makes its way across the face of the moon. Curious. A string of pumpkins welcomes us into Raven Rock. And yet more carved jack-o'-lanterns and festive pumpkins line the steps up to the Dunmerry Temple. The Dark Elves are, of course, no strangers to somewhat morbid worship of their ancestors, or at least what other races might consider morbid, revering the remains of their deceased family in ash piles and ossuaries. But here in Raven Rock, they've taken it to yet a further extreme here in celebration of All Hallows Eve. And it would make sense that the Dunmer would be especially devout in their observation of this holiday related to ancestor worship. Look here. There's a hand emerging from this ash pile, clutching what appears to be a most seasonal of treats, some pumpkin ale. Holding tight that shortly. Well, this is a gruesome display. An impaled body, a number of skulls, and a ribcage. One hopes they are merely decorations, though one can never be too sure where the Dark Elves are involved. I've heard that the residents of Raven Rock have done a particularly spectacular job of decorating the front gate of the city. So, or the town, really. A city is a strong word to use for Raven Rock, but why don't we make our way out to the front gates and see what kind of decorations have been set out for the holiday. This billowing smoke seems to be everywhere around here, and I wonder if it might be the ever-present ash that blankets the earth here, spewed out, of course, by the great plume of Red Mountain we can see off in the distance there. Aha! Now this is interesting. A very foreboding-looking book being held up by a skeletal hand in front of a headstone. And a number of jack-o'-lanterns out here as well. It's a peaceful night here on Solstheim. All the twinkling lights of Aetherius visible above us, veiled by wispy clouds. And indeed, the residents of Raven Rock have done a remarkable job of decorating out here with many pumpkins lining the top of the gate, skeletons all about, and tombstones scattered throughout. Certainly a display worthy of the season. I can once again hear a spirit nearby. It's curious that they make a sound like little bells as they walk. I wonder if there's a reason for that. We'll sidestep this spider here. Now, another spirit approaches down the street, minding its own business, of course. Though restless, the spirits that emerge on All Hallows Eve are rarely malicious. Again, it's all those warding signs at work. The jack-o'-lanterns doing their job. Now this is a truly enormous skeleton, one of imposing proportions, and one wonders if it perhaps belonged to a giant, for I cannot think of any other humanoid creature that would possess a skeleton of this scale. is an interesting looking apparition. Wow. And it would appear that the blacksmith here has been absolutely coated in spider webs and gossamer strands. Here's a casket with yet another skeleton in it. Again, where the Dunmer are concerned, one can never be too sure if a skeleton is a mere decoration or the remains of some revered ancestor. It's best to treat all the skeletons here with great respect, lest we offend the locals. But the citizens of Raven Rock aren't only about warding evil and worshipping ancestors. At this time of year, they do partake in some of the festivities and frivolities that the Skyrim mainlanders enjoy as well, such as traditional drink and food. Here we can see laid out all manner of treats. Looks like some candy and delicious baking, some more pumpkin beer, and perhaps some more local specialties like grief or sujama, traditional beverages of the Dunmer. Well, I don't know about you, but it's awfully chilly out here. Why don't we head on into the retching niche here, the local watering hole, and find a cozy fire to warm up beside. Much warmer in here. Smells of wood smoke and fresh bread. And I see a cozy looking spot next to a crackling hearth just up ahead. And we can see that even inside here, the innkeep has decorated for the season with a handful of carved pumpkins in this corner, lending some spooky but festive cheer to the room. And something delicious is bubbling in front of the fire. Let's have a seat here and warm our chilly bones. That's very nice indeed. It's quiet here. It's warm. It smells delicious. Whatever this stew is aromatic, fragrant, and of course the smell of wood smoke from a roaring fire is always comforting. I can feel myself getting sleepy already. And so I think, my friends, that we will rest here for tonight. Another wander for All Hallows Eve has come and gone. And I do dearly enjoy this tradition that we share together. And I wish you and yours a very safe and happy spooky season, whatever it as you may celebrate, whether All Hallows Eve, the Witches' Festival, Samhain, or Halloween. Thank you once again for joining me, my friends, and I look very forward to wandering with you again next time. Farewell for now. And on this rambling journey that we share here together, I am lucky to have some especially stalwart companions, the kind who have my back through thick and thin, who support what I do here on the channel so kindly, so that I can continue to make the kind of content that I love making the most, and that you hopefully enjoy watching and listening to the most as well, such as this very video. These individuals support this channeling content on my Patreon and my YouTube memberships, and I am so appreciative of their kindness. If you, dear viewer or listener, would like to join them and have my everlasting gratitude, you can find those links down below at the top of the video description. Both Patreon and YouTube memberships offer equivalent perks. There you will find 3 different tiers. I'm sure one of them is right for you. There is one particular tier, however, which I would like to give an extra special big shout out to today. A special spoken thank you which they receive in every single video. Those are our Fus Roda tier supporters. And their legendary names are Jake Luffney, Odin Sun, Drummer Britt, Joe, Ragnar Ragnarsson, Smitty, and Bruce Buchner. A spectacular group of folks. Like I said, I cannot thank them enough, which is why I do it in every video and will continue to do so. I'd also like to give a big shout out to our newest member here, Nevenvi, in the Fusro tier over on YouTube memberships. Nevenvi, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to our supporter crew here. Once again, a big extra special thanks to everybody that you see here for kindly supporting this channel.